Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Days Podcast along with a new video. I know it's been a while, but I am going to make sure I continue to make free content for you all and episodes. I want to thank you all for liking, subscribing, viewing, watching, and listening. I truly appreciate it. We are going today to talk about more music, and we are going to talk about Lauryn Hill. So we are going to talk about the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, her debut album from Lauryn Hill, of course. So let's look at it. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is the debut studio album by American rapper and singer Lauryn Hill. It was released on August 19th. Wow, special day, because wow, August 19th. If I'm quite honest with you all, August 19th is actually the day I got my license. So, special day. In 1998 by Rough House Records and Columbia Records. It's also a significant day where I was able to really find love again, and amongst other things, like there's just so much that's happened within that day. Family, just everything, love. So recorded after the Fugees embarked on a hiatus, the album was almost entirely written and produced by Hill. It is a concept album about educating oneself on love, with lyrical themes encompassing relationship complexities, interpersonal conflicts, motherhood, and faith. Predominantly a neo soul and R&B record, it incorporates genres such as hip-hop, reggae, and soul, and features guest appearances from Carlos Santana, Mary J. Blige, and D'Angelo. Okay. After touring with the Fugees, Hill became involved in a romantic relationship with Jamaican entrepreneur Rohan Marley, and shortly after became pregnant with their first child. The pregnancy, as well as other circumstances in her life, inspired Hill to create a solo album. Recording sessions for the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill took place from September 1997 to June 1998, initially in New York and New Jersey, before relocating to the Tough Gong Studios in Kingston, as Hill collaborated with a group of musicians known as New Ark in writing and producing the songs. Commissioner Gordon Williams supervised the project, while Shay Pope and James Poyser also contributed to a majority of the tracks. Hill strived to differentiate her musical style from that of the Fugees, and wrote songs discussing the turmoil within the group, as she refrained from following mainstream music trends and sounding overproduced. Live instruments were heavily incorporated into the recordings. So there was a couple things I had said in that, but I just want to be able to stand out the fact that this was in a very peak time in the 90s, of where late 97, 98, everyone was releasing. Whether it was a single, album, everyone was releasing. Everyone was doing soundtracks, and just albums were emerging from pop as well. So, and Michael had his remix album, okay, for Blood on the Dance Floor, you know? So it's just, there was so much that was shifting. We already had Mariah Carey's Butterfly. We already had literally Janet's The Velvet Rope, okay? And, you know, they were touring, okay? So there was so much musically that was just starting to broaden out, if you will. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was met with a unanimous critical acclaim and became one of the most acclaimed albums of 1998, with most praise directed towards Hill's presentation of a woman's view on life and love and her artistic range. So we, in this time recently, was able to see a Little Kim be able to release her first album, Foxy Brown be able to release her first album. You know, there was, of course, there was still Yo Yo and there was still MC Light and Queen Latifah. People were making TV appearances in movies, okay, and making televised appearances too, which I think I just said, but don't mind me. But you know, I just know that there was just a lot in hip hop that was starting to shift with women in this time, and she was able to pioneer such a new, fresh way for women to be able to express themselves with not just rapping, but a bit of singing too. Because with those I've mentioned, we're now seeing women in hip hop be able to express themselves more visually as opposed to aggressively still, and even feminine, you know, given a feminine way of, you know, hey, I'm that bitch, okay? But with Lauryn, it was cohesively made in a sense of not even just that, but I'm talking about a lot of things, different things. And we have the same birthday. So, yeah, again, like, I think that at the time, she, of course, like they said, she was becoming a mom, and us Geminis, we when it comes to music, think of any Gemini you know with music. I'll wait. We don't play about music. We love music. But in just recent times, I just realized that Ronald Isley from the Isley Brothers is a Gemini as well. So again, I love all signs. It's just great when you can appreciate your own. And be sure to check out my Zodiac playlist, or even stem back to any of the Zodiac signs that I have talked about, including my own. This is, of course, talking about Gemini, but, well, a Gemini, but I've talked about them all, and I love all signs collectively. So do not take me, you know, talking about Geminis or me being a Gemini or a Gemini being a sense of, who are the best. Like, every sign's going to feel and justify why they feel they are the best. And why not? Because we all came in a moment in the universe where it may have been the best time. You know what I mean? So that's how fair I am. I'm not going to say, like, you know, a Pisces don't go off. I'm not going to say a Sag don't go off. I'm not going to say a Taurus don't go off. And I can say them all. We all go off. Okay? A Virgo, this is Virgo season. Like, I'm not going to say Virgos don't go off. Like, I can name them all. No. Mm-mm. I know all signs go off. But she went off. Okay? A substantial commercial success, the album debuted atop the U.S. Billboard 200 with first week sales of 422,000 copies, largest for a female artist at the time. At the 41st Annual Grammy Awards, 1999, it won Album of the Year and Best R&B Album, while Hill broke records for most nominations and wins in a single ceremony for a woman. The album produced 3 singles: Doo Wop That Thing, which peaked atop the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and broke numerous chart records, X Factor, and Everything Is Everything. Hill further promoted the record with multiple televised performances and a sold-out worldwide concert tour. Since 2018, she has also embarked on 2 anniversary world tours. The success of the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill propelled Hill to global prominence and contributed to bringing hip-hop and neo-soul to the forefront of popular music. New Arc, however, felt Hill and her record labels did not properly credit them for their contributions and filed a lawsuit, which was settled out of court in 2001. So, yeah, that is not something new, unfortunately. There are people that may have not fully got residuals back in the day. It wouldn't matter whether it was writing, producing, whatever the case may be. There'd be times that people did not get their money. And that's why, if you look at previous videos, even recent ones, I'd be talking about being independent. Like, you want to make sure you get what you worked for. You ain't out here just doing things just for people to just be like, oh, yeah, you're over there. And like, no, like, you put money into this. Get your coin, okay? But, yeah, regardless of the controversy, various critics have exalted the album as one of the best of its era and of all time, due to its tremendous influence on other artists and ambiguous, I think so, impact on the music industry. Ambiguous, I'm sorry guys. Yes, ambiguous impact on the music industry. In addition, it has been selected for inclusion at a multitude of cultural institutions. The album eventually went on to be certified diamond by the Recording Academy for 10 million units consumed in the US, with over 20 million copies sold worldwide. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is among the best-selling albums of all time. Despite its immense success and achievements, it remains Hill's solo studio. Her sole studio album, meaning it's her only one. I think that's something about Geminis. There's most of us will release multiple albums, more than 10. Most of us, whether it's in a group or by ourselves, we will give you more than 10 albums, at least. Or better yet, when it comes to rap, because there's Geminis in rap, we may give a few mixtapes within those albums. So it's not even so much that we'll just give an album rather than something that we may want to really talk about in a mixtape. Okay. But as far as with Lauryn, she's not saying one and done, but definitely just was saying one. Okay. And no, that there isn't anyone that I haven't heard say that this was a bad album. Like, they loved this album. This was a really great album. And just she while touring as a member of the Fugees in support of their widely successful second album, The Score, she met Rohan Marley and Bob, the son of Bob Marley. This was back in 1996. She refrained from touring and recording due to her pregnancy and cases of writer's block. And that happens. So, and Wendy Williams was one of the people that had let people know that she was pregnant at the time. Circumstances in her life stimulated her to record a solo album, having already expressed the desire to do so and depart from the Fugees. Okay. She credited her pregnancy for rejuvenating her songwriting, according to her then manager Jason Jackson. The songwriting was prompted by Wendy Williams. Yeah. So, the controversy that Wendy was pretty much putting out, which wasn't a lie, fueled her, along with the sense of, I can do this on my own and don't have to be in this particular group, even though we're successful all together, but I want to be on my own. And you've seen that a lot in different variants, whether it's women and men, where they do be in groups, and then whether it's the first or second or third album, it's like, all right, well, listen, or even with Michael, where it's been about 4 or 5, it's like, all right, I'm gonna do a few solo albums and see how this goes. With Lauryn's case, it's just one, but even just with one, you just kind of say to yourself, like, no, I can do this. Why not? Yeah. Of the early writing process, Hill said, every time I got hurt, every time I was disappointed, every time I learned, I just wrote a song. While inspired, Hill wrote over 30 songs in her attic studio in South Orange, New Jersey. Many of these songs drew upon the turbulence of the turbulence in the Fugees, as well as past love experiences. In the summer of 1997, as Hill was due to give birth to her first child, she was requested to write a song for gospel musician CeCe Winans. Several months later, she went to Detroit to work with soul singer Aretha Franklin, writing and producing her single "A Rose Is Still a Rose." Franklin would later have Hill direct the song's music video. Shortly after this, Hill did she did writing work with Whitney Houston. Having written songs for artists in gospel, hip hop, and R&B, she drew on these influences on experiences to record the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. So, working with legendary singers and helping them, and having, Wendy Williams just be like, oh yeah, she's pregnant. We know who the dad is. It's just like, I would hope that would make someone feel like, shoot, I'm gonna make people know who the fuck I am. and then it's slightly self-titled because it's the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. So it's not so much it's just Lauryn Hill. She's letting you know, like, this is about me and just my retrospective of me within whatever I say and what I'm giving y'all. Period. And I respect it. Yeah, she wanted to be able to have artistic freedom and wanted to pretty much, do more. Yeah. But yes, there was a lawsuit, and New Art demanded writing and or production credits for 13 of the album's 14 tracks, excluding To Zion, alongside monetary reimbursement. So the fact of the matter is, there were samples as well. She wanted people to know that I'm bringing artists and a sense of the genres I identify with out in a way that people should and have to understand. And I don't think it wasn't propelled or projected in such a way. She really let people know, like, you've been looking for your friend, the one you let hit and never called you again. Oh no. Like, that was in a worldwide, lyric to just be able to relate to in that time, where it was just like, people were dating, people were out and about and just screwing this, screwing that. Oh, I'm pregnant. Oh no, haven't heard from him. Like that, like single parents were real and still are to this day. Not everybody's married, but not everybody is mature enough to disassociate themselves to be selfless and love someone without the thought of them being not them. You know what I mean? Like, you can love someone and truly be happy with them, as opposed to what was really going on. People was not happy. There was a lot going on. Like, people wanted to not be too committed, and it wasn't something that she felt was fair on either side. Like, watch out. But yes, Can't Take My Eyes Off You is such a great song too. And let's see. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was first released in Japan on August 19th, 1988, before being released in the US on August 25th, and elsewhere within subsequent months. To commence its pre-release marketing campaign, Rough House Records mailed a promotional vinyl of Lost Ones to select radio stations. You just lost one. The song managed to garner enough airplay to reach number 27 on the U.S. R&B hip hop airplay. Can't Take My Eyes Off You, which originally appeared in the 1997 film Conspiracy Theory, began receiving heavy unsolicited airplay, prompting it to reach the top 40 on the U.S. Hot 100 airplay. Consequently, the song was added on the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill as a hidden track. Doo Wop That Thing was then released as the album's official lead single on August 10th, 1998. So she had the lead single, Doo Wop That Thing, come out literally right before the album was coming. So debuting the top, the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and breaking numerous chart records. Stephanie Gale, senior director of marketing at Columbia Records, retrospectively analyzed Lost Ones, set the tone for how Lauryn, the solo artist, would be embraced at Black radio and anywhere hip hop was being played. But Doo Wop That Thing told the world there was nowhere this young lady of color would not be heard. Didn't I just talk about that? I just talked about that with that thing. Watch out. Yeah. It's something. It's really something. Because I don't think, like, and I think that's one thing that I'm kind of starting to see artists do now, where they have a single and then within a week's time the album comes out. At this time, it was very much unexpected because you have that thing, like Doo Wop That Thing, come out on the radio. You can get it, at FYE or any type of record store at the time. And you're kind of, you're sitting with this single and you're like, oh my God, this is good. Or you're hearing it on the radio. And then within a few weeks, the album comes out. You have not just that song, but you have a whole album. Hill further promoted the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill with televised performances on Saturday Night Live and at the Billboard Music Awards in December. X Factor was released as the second single on December 14th, but failed to replicate the success of its predecessor, peaking at number 21 on the Hot 100, while reaching the top 5 in Iceland and in the UK. So, I don't know what it was out here, but we was just not wanting a slow song at the time. I think, and yeah, when I think of songs that went number one in like 98, 99, you think of, them being like mid-tempo or like, fast paced. Like that was what people was wanting at the time. People was really moving them. But, it really had to take a ballad, like some type, like a really meaningful ballad for people to really sit back like, I want this at that time. Nowadays, it's in the matter of, do I want to stream it? Do I want to buy it? Do I want to look at the video? But y'all should do that. Okay? Like, do that for every artist. Okay? Please. Meanwhile, To Zion has been released as a promotional single in November and would be performed with Carlos Santana at the 41st Annual Grammy Awards on February 24th, 1999. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was also released as a promotional single exclusively in Japan. In March, Everything Is Everything was released as the third and final single on May 3rd, peaking at number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100. Hill performed the song alongside Lost Ones at the 1999 MTV VMAs on September 9th. Furthermore, she performed Final Hour at the Source Hip Hop Music Awards on August 18th. So she started to tour, and she was also pregnant with her second child by 99. You know, yeah. Yeah, so she was also pregnant. Yeah, initially there was no immediate tour planning in support of the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill due to the album not needing further promotion. Okay, so it was already going off. And Hill being pregnant with her second child, whom she gave birth to in November 1998. So even in the midst of when the album was going to be released, she was pregnant. So, um, you know, to me, why not? You know, if I am a star and I, ooh, okay, wait a minute. The tour helped establish the group as touring artists, with Williams elaborating. Okay. Notable attendees. Oh, wow. Okay. Let me just tell y'all this. In January 1999, however, Hill recruited a band and began rehearsals for what would become the Miseducation Tour. Tickets sold out as soon as the tour was announced, which included 3 sold-out nights at the theater at Madison Square Garden. The Los Angeles Times called the tour quite possibly the most accomplished tour ever by a hip-hop artist at the time. Notable attendees included Harrison Ford, Natalie Portman, Star Jones, Casey Affleck, Nina Simone, John Galliano, Rosie O'Donnell, Mary J. Blige, Adele was there too. Okay, a young Adele. But yeah, but it was received very well. People was saying that she was a gender bender whose confident singing and rapping was balanced by vulnerable themes and sentiment. I mean, yeah, like, I'm not gonna not just speak for the women, I'll speak for the men too, because I'm wanting the world to know the perspective of what is from my retrospective. That's what she was saying, okay? And 1 Grammys. So yes, let's look at the track list. So, track 1 is Intro. Track 2 is Lost Ones. Track 3 is X Factor. Track 4 is To Zion featuring Carlos Santana. Track 5 is Doo Wop That Thing. So by track 5, you're already slayed. There wasn't really skips. Like you back to back, you're like, oh my god, like this, like we're not like this is the beginning of the album. Like there's more. Like you're slayed by track 5. Track 6 is Superstar. Track 7, Final Hour. Track 8, When It Hurts So Bad. Track 9, I Used to Love Him. I Used to Love Him is a great song. Track 10, Forgive Them, Father. Track 11, Every Ghetto, Every City. Track 12, Nothing Even Matters, featuring D'Angelo. Track 13, Everything Is Everything. Track 14, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Track 15, Can't Take My Eyes Off You, which was a hidden track. And then track 16 is Tell 'Em, which is also a hidden track. So it was 14 tracks, but then track 15 and 16 kind of just played within 14, I believe. If not, people weren't expecting that they would be bonus tracks. But from everything that I've been able to talk about this album, yes, I love it. Be sure to continue to stream and buy it. Why not? I will collect the vinyl too. I will be getting a vinyl. But yes, guys, I thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and I will be back with more.